More smooth.
Boom! We're off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Snyder, here with my boy, the CEO of the Knocking Store, Zach Elias.
I should be so lucky. CEO is pretty good. Can be going on the house.
I would make you assistant to the regional manager, but that joke's played out.
Yeah, but CEO means you probably get something in the house. Get a take of the earnings. You're always number one at the deli.
Absolutely. And that's going to be the topic of our show, which we'll get into. Booze Your Daddy. We do it live, Tuesdays, 8:30. We post it later every Saturday. Like, subscribe, do all the things. We're going to keep doing these episodes. Love the fan appreciation.
Yeah, do that. Give us 5 stars. Be a 5-star slut. I'm a 5-star slut for Google, for Uber. I'm very nervous with my ratings, so I always give 5 stars no matter how big. Drive me off a pier, I'm still giving 5 stars. Because I figure when I give him, he's going to give me.
I gave an obnoxious tip today because the girl didn't charge me for a soda at a restaurant, which is an old waiter trick. Or you don't have to ring up the sodas, so you just, if it's fountain, so when your meal comes, it's $4 less than it should be. So I just give that all towards the tip.
So she was cute.
Nah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
So keeping in line with what we were talking about with the Knocking Store and everything, this episode, we're going to be called Pick a Decade. And I'm going to tell you why.
There was a decade where wearing an NBA tank top jersey was cool.
Well,
keep going from more and more unemployed shirts, from the Hawaiian shirt to that. Soon it's just going to be no shirt and like a bolo tie.
Zach, I saw online a Hawaiian shirt that had all the WWF figurines for back in the day. It took every bit of restraint to not buy it. Every bit.
At 3 a.m., you're buying that. You'll lose all restraint.
Look, I got the shakes.
Oh, yeah. Julia's going to have to shackle you to the bed like you're on a gurney so that you don't buy that thing. You're going to see the Macho Man crawling on your ceiling like Train Spotting.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
So we're coming fresh off of July 4th weekend, and I didn't want to ham it up too much because we were a week away, even though the episodes come out near July 4th. So I'm going with my LeBron Team USA. And
I thought it was a Ewing 6 from the Real Dream Team. Which
no.
I looked online and saying I saw that and they're like $80, so I whipped out.
What size are you?
I don't know, medium.
You wish.
28 husky. A boy's large.
All right, well, I want to tell you about my beer, but you, sir, have a new beer for the show, so go on.
So I have the Victory Summer Love Golden Ale. The only reason I bought it is because I have, as we discussed, no sales resistance. I have a good bullshit detector. I can tell when I'm being sold. But like if a corporation comes up with a fun logo, slogan, or something interesting, I'll buy. Or if someone tells me that their undies are the best, I'll buy. Those things are so mediocre. They're fine, the MeUndies. They hug your ass. They're okay. But anyway, this one says a taste of sunshine. Now, I'd love to know what sunshine tastes like, so let's dance.
What type of beer is it? Give me more.
Ale. It's a seasonal favorite golden ale, 5.2% alcohol, summer love from Victory. I've had some of their other stuff. It's okay. All right. Summer is all about good vibes. The refreshing beer includes earthy, lemony hops, notes that create an unexpected burst of flavor for a vibrant combination that you'll never forget. Give you a burst of flavor, right?
I always forget if it's nodes or notes. I mess that up regularly.
It's notes.
Yeah. Well, I want to say it's a Ron Katz fun fact is that most craft beers are in cans because they can make cooler artwork on it. I think he told me that.
It's just cheaper. They can overcharge people like you.
My beer, which is a red, white, and blue out of Duclaw Brewing Company from Baltimore, Maryland, is called Lil Sour Me America Rocket Pop Sour Ale. Ale brewed with cherry puree, raspberry puree, lime juice, and tart cherry juice. Check that baby out.
I think the Pride Parade was last week. Yeah, that looks like something.
It looks like the Rocket Pop.
It looks like the Rocket Pop, but it looks like a penis. Brian Wilson. Exact. Oh, hey, yo. You can fold your tongue. Look at you.
All right. L'chaim.
Let's go.
Cheers. Release the Kraken.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. There's a burst of flavor for you.
Ooh, that is sour. It started off sweet and then quickly went sour. Almost bad.
Like nothing. It's like ocean water that's been bottled.
Coming off of our Knocking Store conversation and a segue in, so this past weekend, I I've seen
Went to a
most of
knocking store? Good for you.
virtually.
Julia's pretty hip.
I've seen most of Deadwood. I don't think I ever finished it. So I have time on my hands. I said, I'm going to go back from the very beginning and watch Deadwood. Have you seen it?
No.
Do you know what it's about?
Cowboys.
Not. I guess it has a little bit of cowboys and,
Got a lot of cowboys. And like,
but that's not the purpose. So here's what I'll say about the show.
Tombstone.
It's set in 1876 Deadwood, South Dakota, which I've been at.
Sound pretty cowboyish.
I wouldn't say they're cowboys though. It has that flair. And can we say the I word? Is it? It's cowboys and Indians at that point, right?
I mean, you can say if you want this show. We've been canceled for weeks. You can say Indians. You can say you go watch Peter Pan. I feel like it gets pretty real.
For me, I was talking with Josh last night. This show is not worth like stop what you're doing. So great, it's enjoyable.
Yeah, that
being said, the character that Ian McShane plays, his name is Al Swearingen. He is the bartender, saloon owner, brothel owner. Is a top 10 character on television.
Those things all go together.
It's worth watching like the first episode just so you. I mean, he's fantastic. So kind of what you're saying when you own the knocking store, you get a little cut of the pie.
Yeah, you definitely get a cut of the pie. Wink, wink. Now the problem with cut of the pie is that you've seen the clientele come in. Do you really want to shtup that girl after those 5-10 guys who just run a disgusting train on her?
There are some things I could go on. I don't want to ruin any of it, but I'm going through it right now just because, again, I started it and I think I'm at the point now halfway through the second season where I'm not remembering the plots as much, and I certainly didn't see
a hell of a drug. So we should totally ignore, by the way, the generation that you have a new logo and it's the 80s mall photograph. It's fantastic.
You're the only person who actually...
It's your Jew face and an 80s thing with earmuffs on. It's
great.
I
thought that was Adam Sandler.
Ish.
Wait, earmuffs? It's my headphones, Zach.
If you think so.
So this Deadwood show has me thinking because there's so many things that happen in the show that make me go, wow, that would be really cool. So you've seen, what's it, Westworld?
No.
Westworld is where they create a virtual Deadwood where you can go into these type of things.
What the thing is, it's got the guy, the black guy from Boardwalk Empire. He's good.
The Liberian.
What's a Nubian?
That's what he is. He's a Liberian in that show.
I didn't see him in any books.
So it just has me thinking. I'm curious of your thoughts, and now I want to go through the.
I think Ron Katz for the win is my thought. You look like Princess Leia. That's it for us. You've been great.
Going through decades, because in theory, you don't want to live in any other decade, or do you? Is there the name of this episode?
One I'm in right now.
You grew up
current.
You grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, that's for. I'll ride that thing out.
No, you're saying no.
And they're big and baggy, and you can rollerblade everywhere.
The Jenkos.
Yeah, and you had to fit your CD player into your little jean pockets, and it never quite worked.
Pockets?
Perfection.
You could afford pockets?
Yeah, I didn't come from Baltimore. I had pockets. I had pockets everywhere.
All right. So you're clearly happy with what you have.
Love the 90s. You see my playlist.
Starting in the 1900s, is there a decade that you would be like, you know what? I wouldn't mind going there for a year.
Well, who am I? Am I rich? Am I me? Am I like some Irish family like sharing one potato for the 8 of us?
No, your upbringing. So like a middle class putz.
A middle class putz. So I could be like hanging out with Meyer Lansky and like the Jewish mafia crew. I would.
You don't hang out with the mafia now. That's not who you would be.
Mafia. Then in that case, no mafia. I would probably ride it out with the 90s. But if I'm not broke, I would go for the roaring 20s into the 30s. But pre-depression, pre-market crash, because I think that would have probably hit me, and I might have been the guy jumping out of a building.
Right at the end, though. Right at the end is when it was.
So I think I would want to like the Gatsby's with the dancing that they did with the funny hats. I think I could get down with that. I could fucking one of those hats.
Right.
E2, go on.
I prefer the formal
The
Eusted.
Nosotros form? You're not getting
Eusted.
form? You're not getting it. Go
I
on.
did a deep dive into which decade I would want to do, and I actually am right with you, where in the 20s is when cars were big, stock market was booming, Mickey Mouse was rolling, and Babe Ruth was hitting home runs. The Mets weren't a thing, so in theory, maybe that would have been fun to see, but
It was a lot of
booze,
fun to not see the Mets.
prohibition was going around, but in theory,
Oh, you would have been on the inside of that.
that's what I'm thinking,
That's
because
what our jobs would have been. Look at the two of us. We would have been the beer runners.
working the bathtub gin, just like
Yeah. The bowling ball like in The Simpsons. Yeah, we would have been outlaws.
best Simpsons episode. That and Monorail. Oh yeah,
Beer Baron.
Beer
No,
Baron.
you won't.
I actually was originally going to take the 20s right after that because I love booze, but then I'm thinking I can get most illegal drugs. I mean, I know a guy who knows the guy, so I probably could get booze
You
back
live
in
in
the
New
day.
Jersey. Get off a truck.
So the 1900s, the cool thing that happened then was silent movies. So I was like, is there anything else cool about that? And I couldn't find anything else.
Silent pornography.
Story of my life.
Me too.
1910,
You don't have a kid. I gotta be like a ninja.
the 1910s
Walks
was,
in, I got some explaining to do.
the 1910s was World War I. So I wanted nothing to do with then.
No, I'm not going to war.
The 1930s, something big happened then because watching this Deadwood show, there was no antibiotics. And that's what made me go, I might want to hold off till
I'm
there's
not getting polio.
No, polio vaccine came way later. I'm talking about just,
I don't want to get polio.
I'm
You
assuming
die.
you don't want to get anything. But the point is that
Really not, but
you can die of simple colds back in the day where penicillin didn't come out and wasn't available until the 30s. Also, when booze was available, also the Depression, also people hated Jews. It's kind of the life I'm living right now.
yeah, you're pretty hateable. And depressed. I think that all you got is the booze and maybe a vaccine. So
I'm literally, when I wrote those things down, I went, this is not much different than my day today.
yeah, so we're back in the 30s.
Hot takes. We're living in the 30s.
If I'm gonna be like Gordon Gekko, I would choose the 80s. I mean, anything goes.
But you're not.
If I'm
You're
just
not
a schlubby guy, I was a little one in the 80s. I watched my parents be schlubby in the 80s. They looked okay.
Yeah, the 80s were cool except AIDS.
I mean, you might have, but I wouldn't have gotten AIDS. Nevertheless, you could avoid AIDS, most likely.
The 60s and the 70s, between political everything and Vietnam, I'm out.
It's too
I'm
difficult. It's too
I'm
much
out.
work. It's just too much work to be in your 30s and 40s and the 70s and 60s. Just, who needs the effort? Go 90s.
I would end up looking like Ron Katz. No, thank you.
He's looking delightful enough. He's got a nice Italian wife. Exactly. It was cool if you had money. No, the 90s was fun. Anything went. So the last real decade, and we just all just gave up. Grunge was great. You wore a flannel shirt around your waist in July and look cool. Let's go.
I actually agree with you. I like the 90s, but excuse me, going through the other decades where television was big in the 50s, but everybody's father was a pain in the ass. It's like having my own father right now. I would not want some disgruntled
Daughter's got a pain in the ass father, and I like TV. Not a lot of changes.
right.
Can I watch my show? No, the Mets are on. They're losing 14-2. I like their chances. Get out of here. That's how it goes.
Here's some chocolate.
Yeah. Dark chocolate. That's what I think.
When I first just thought of this before actually doing some research, I thought the 40s would be cool. I mean, then I looked into it. There was nothing. The 40s was flying.
There was a war. That was pretty big.
The end of it, though. The end of the 40s were not so terrible.
Yeah, people were stupid because they survived war. I mean, if you were coming of age late 40s, you could have done great. But
it was just one of those before I actually looked into this. So you're going with the 90s, and if you had to pick one, you're saying the 20s or the 30s, which is...
Yeah, pre-depression, pre-crash.
All right.
I wouldn't want to live on the Lower East Side with my whole Mishbucha, shtetl family. But if I could have, live, well, not up here. Up here was rough then, too. But if I could live, in a decent area in the 20s and 30s, I would be into that.
It would be like the equivalent of your life. Anyway, that's where my head has been from the Knocking Store.
Except I wouldn't want to have to get from radio. I hate that fake radio voice. You do a good fake radio voice. And now, come brought to you by,
Those Daddy, brought to you by the letter U for umbrella and unicycle.
It's a touch Mulaney, but
it's right. Mulaney's doing the voice.
Mulaney is the voice. But yeah, you got straw hats in the 20s and 30s. That's cool. I mean,
Alright.
but you also had to wear a suit to like everything, like a wool suit to the beach. You couldn't just like, in the 90s, people stopped caring. You were ripped knees and like, Umbro shorts, and you were the man.
I was not the man. I'm assuming that I would be the same schmagale that I was then. Where you would want to say I'd be in the 60s and go to Woodstock, but I didn't go to Woodstock in 94 or whenever they did the other one.
No, I was at camp then. I was at like Jewish sleepaway camp.
Right. I wasn't cool enough to go then. Ergo, I wouldn't have gone back then.
Perhaps not.
So let's see if we can get a segue here. Zach, I found the Holy Grail today in New Jersey. Do you know that when you get gas in New Jersey, there's a different price for credit and cash?
Yeah, but you still have to get the guy to do it for you.
That's a pain in the ass everywhere.
I love it. I love these services, me. Give me a lube job, that whole thing. And when they come with the wiper and the squeegee,
you got to tip them.
you don't have to tip shit.
Yes, you do.
You don't have to. You can.
Oh my god!
If I see one streak mark,
Are we talking about the MeUndies?
I got dark colors.
I always think those people are such shysters. Where I was driving on the turnpike one time.
Those people?
Yeah, the gas station attendants.
Go on.
Usually they're white people, Zach.
Not where are you going to New Jersey?
I'm on the turnpike once, and the guy comes over, and I said, no, don't do the thing. And he looks down at my tires and goes, you might want to consider getting some new tires. I went, you can't sell me on new tires.
He's not going to sell you. He's going to put them on, then tip is optional. And you can opt for no, like in Uber,
Wait.
hence my rating.
Wait, you think I'm buying tires because some schmuck ass?
Shit.
Anyway, my tire popped about 20 miles later.
Yeah, because he popped it.
You think he did it?
Yeah, this is New Jersey. This is the mafia. This is how it works. They tell you need tires. You say no. He pops your tire. What do you think's going on? God, you're a hayseed from Maryland. They saw you coming a mile away in your little cutoff shirt. You're reeling this big fish in.
So the Holy Grail was I found an Exxon because most of the cheap gas stations down here are like Anthony's gas station where you're getting anything that's decent. I found an Exxon that was $3.07 a gallon, and it was the same cost for credit and cash. Best moment of my day. It was the best moment of my day today.
And we've officially derailed.
No, I want a segue. You're supposed to be like, you Jew face.
Well, you have a huge Jew face. I'm surprised the guy didn't put your car in 4 cinder blocks. By the way, that's not gas. He's just peeing in your gas tank. New Jersey. Whipping out his schwanz and just right in there.
So I had another epiphany this past weekend. Did you have any...
We should open a gas station.
No, we shouldn't.
And we pump it like the jerk, like Mr. Hartunian. We put the hat on. And...
Were you into superheroes growing up?
I read some comics, but it didn't like rule my life. I don't keep them in the packaging. I like He-Man. That was fun. And Thundercats kicked ass. But... I mean, I could get down with the X-Men. I can,
so
name a few of them. And
I also was not a big superhero person.
Loved Burton's Batmans. Oof, those two were great. 1 and 2 with Keaton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the best. The best. He could kick Christian Bale's ass all over the place. Give me that shit.
So I'm sitting around, I'm going, why didn't I like superheroes more? And I realized because there weren't many superheroes like me. Ergo, there weren't many Jewish superheroes. So I'm just sitting there going,
Have you seen us? We couldn't fill out the suit.
But Superman kind of had allergies. So that made me think maybe there's a chance in him, right?
Did he do his own taxes?
I mean, I was just thinking to myself, like, I don't know, maybe Wolverine shows up and cuts the prices or something. And essentially it just left me...
prices? He's not selling air conditioners. We're slashing prices in half. Crazy Eddie. Magneto was Jewish.
Magneto was Jewish.
He was a survivor.
Yes, he was. And we're going to get to that. But I essentially left me with the closest thing I could come up with is I might just tell my kids to call Peter Parker Spider-Man and be like, yeah, he's a Jew.
Yeah, you stole that from Friends.
Did they say that?
Yeah, Phil Spider-Man.
Oh, I didn't know that. So I ended up doing a little look-see-poo, and Magneto, he was a survivor of the Holocaust.
It took you a look-see-poo. You could have watched the first one. It opens with that.
2 kids, Wanda, who is WandaVision, so she's a Jew, didn't know that, and then her brother.
Wait, Mary Kate and Ashley's sister's a Jew bagel?
Wanda in the character. I have no idea.
No, good for her.
And wait, it gets better.
You just don't indicate Wanda. Wanda Schwartz? Get the hell out of here.
Harley Quinn
Yeah.
is interfaith, although they don't address it.
Interfaith.
She's into Harley Quinn, the character, the crazy Joker.
Yeah, I know who she is, but like mother Jewish, father Jewish. What are we working with here?
The article
Was
didn't
she
go
bat
that-
mitzvahed?
I think she went to
full makeup and the whole bit.
she went to the mikvah before she goes and hangs out with the Joker.
I could cut a hole in that mikvah and peek in, see what's
And
doing.
the
Like Porky's, but for Jews. You cut a hole in the mikvah.
The last one, which did not surprise me, the Thing from Fantastic Four, Jewish.
No, he's not.
I'm telling you, all the people who invented, like, Stan Lee's real
he
name is
was
like
Jewish.
but his real name is like Lieber or something. It's not.
Yeah, he was very Jewish. So the Thing with his little orange schmeckle was Jewish.
All those muscles.
Well,
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, it was just one of those like, okay, sure, yeah.
So those are the Jews.
Yeah, it's just one of those like, all right, there's Jewish
A lot of
superheroes.
leading roles there.
There was somebody else who were in the comics. I forget who it was, but they mentioned that. Coming up, the end of this week is the World Cup final. Who you got?
The Euro final.
Same thing.
Is it? Well, it's not done yet. There's still England-Denmark tomorrow.
Oh, look at you! I actually watched my first.
I watched my game today.
I watched my first game today, where Italy loves soccer, and if they win this Euro Cup, they're going to burn the Coliseum to the
They go
ground.
nuts. They go nuts. I was at a restaurant when Spain won the World Cup. It overlooked the Columbus Circle. A bunch of guys in Spanish jerseys dancing in the fountain, barefoot, maniacs. Yeah. But yes, I watched the game today, or at least a chunk of it before I had to go.
I watched actually most of it, and it reminded me 4 years ago, Julia had a really cute sports moment where we came home from kickboxing, and I said, can we just turn on the final real quick? And she's, soccer, really? And I turn it on, and she, there's 82 minutes left in this game. I'm not watching this.
That's pretty good.
It was very good. So
was she nuts afterwards with full Brandy Chastain sports bra over the head? It's like
no, it was the men. It was the Croatia versus somebody.
Two unsnipped teams, for all I know. Croatia, yeah.
All
that's
right,
what they're known for.
Before we get to trivia, let's talk about Schmuck of the Week. I have 3 candidates for you.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1. Clifford, the big red dog, what did
he do? Was he canceled now?
No, they're turning it into a movie, but the screeners they've been showing have been terrifying kids because they show a little kid and this massive red dog and like go on an adventure, except it's one of those CGI real life dogs. So I'm going with whoever decided that was a good idea because that sounds terrible.
I'd have to see it, but yeah, that sounds scary as all hell. Meanwhile, speaking of kids movies, we watched Luca the other day. That's a big swing and a miss.
Ooh, I'm going to watch it. I like the Pixar.
It was an hour and 15 minutes of fluff till I got cute at the end. And then at the end, Zoe asked me if sea monsters are real, so we had to deal with that. But she said she liked it. Ugh, thank God it was free.
Candidate number 2, I'm going to mispronounce the name, but the Matis, something with a K, Latvian guy, Columbus goalie, who no longer will be playing goalie after playing with fireworks.
So he blew his hand off playing fireworks?
No, dead.
Full JPP?
Full dead.
Full dead.
Hit in the chest with the firework. I don't think he was the one doing it, but he was near them. Did you not hear about this?
No. Starter or bench warmer?
I think he was bench warmer, or he was in AHL or whatever.
Yeah, it matters. It matters. If he was a starter, it's definitely him. But too soon. Go on. So who did he play for?
Columbus. He was coming up the system. I know nothing about
Blue Jackets or the soccer?
Blue Jackets. I don't care. I would not tell you about soccer.
You opened with soccer.
I segued off.
Okay.
And the last one is this asshole who's about to go on tour as a comedian and thinks this is a good idea. His name, William Cosby.
Is he funny?
My mom saw him back in the day and said he just like preached life stories and whatnot and said he was not funny at all. But I actually have never watched his stand-up. I might give it a whirl, but what do you think this tour is going to... He's also 83 and has dementia. What the hell?
Is he funny?
I forgot this is your criteria. If he's funny, rape everybody.
Well, not everybody, but does he still have it today? And is he going to be cheeky about it? It's got to come up. You can't just skirt it completely.
There was one of my favorite comedians. He said there's going to be a 1 drink minimum at every show. It was a good tweet.
That's not bad.
Who are you picking?
The first one again? The Clifford the Red Dog guy?
Clifford, whoever decided that was a good idea, because it sounds terrible.
If I see it and it's as scary as it is, I'm going to go with him because I'm going to have a scared child imminently. So I'm going to go with option number 1. But if Cosby doesn't slay, we'll circle back.
All right, keep the segues going. The trivia for tonight is a Joe Babe recommended category.
By the way, speaking of stand-up comedians, I challenged you to a top 10 stand-ups at some point because, and only because, your exact quote is, I'm balls deep in this. So I want to see how balls deep you go, or how deep your balls are, or all the pieces are there.
All right.
Show me your balls.
Next episode.
Next week, at some point.
No, we could do next episode.
Right,
let's do another. Let's do a fan. Here's what I was thinking we would do is the comedians you find the funniest. So because I think those are very different things to say. Like here are I'm not putting Carlin on my list, but I think he's a genius. He doesn't make me laugh out loud.
He's high on mine.
Oh, is that your Duke?
It might be. No, it's not my Duke. Could be.
All right.
No, I don't think so. But he's top 5.
People that are listening, I will text you. You will text me your favorite top 3 favorite comedians, whatever you want, however you want to phrase it. I'm going to go with the comedians that make me laugh the most because I think they're very different things.
Fine.
Fair?
That's fine. It's going to be culturally the best or society's top 10. Your top 10, your list.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't care how you rate them.
Trivia for tonight was recommended by Joe Babe. She wants to know, we are going to test your knowledge of the locations that TV families lived in. Okay, so if I said the Tanners in Full House, you would say
San Francisco.
I need a city and state, please.
Ugh, no, California.
Okay. Somebody sent me a great picture. The Danny Tanner in the Full House, 31 years old. That's how old he was supposed to be. That's just like that's ridiculous. That's terrible.
All right. Also, that Bob Saget's raising any kids on TV is just ridiculous too. He's good at stand-up. Filthy. He's really good.
The Aristocrats.
He's the best one.
Question number 1. Let's keep it with who should have been the Pisha Do of the week. Where were the Cosbys set?
New York or Brooklyn, New York.
That is correct. It is Brooklyn Heights. I've walked by the house. All right, very good.
Even by Epstein's house, which is now being torn down. Go nuts.
Question number 2.
Palm Beach. Yeah, go on.
Big Bang Theory. City and state.
I never watched The Big Bang Theory. That feels like, is it a West Coast, Seattle, Washington, maybe? No, Portland, Oregon? Silicon Valley?
Pasadena, California.
Fuck, do I know?
Oh, if these might get way harder than question.
What are these real sitcoms, or is this some Gornish you're watching? Deadwood.
I already told you this. You remember what it was?
Somewhere in South Dakota in the Black Hills.
The answer is in there. Deadwood, South Dakota.
Great, go nuts.
Question the 3rd. Married with Children, the Bundys.
Oh, Chicago, Illinois.
Very good. All right, this
I'm
one.
A big fan. Get that. I made Jenna watch every episode on the Logo channel. We DVR'd them.
Laugh out loud funny to this day.
Best show. It's cancelable in so many ways. It's the best.
Question number 4. Happy Days.
Happy Days was set in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Sunday, Monday, Happy Days. That is correct, Zach. Very good.
I've been to Milwaukee and seen the Fonz.
Yes, I was hoping you knew that because they have the.
Hey. I've seen the Fonz. I've seen the Euchre statue. They're way up there in the stadium. Picture of me next to it. It's a real hike.
The last one. I need a city and state. This is for the hardest one.
Cities and states.
The Simpsons.
Springfield, state not ever mentioned. State unknown.
Incorrect.
You cracked the code?
They've come out and said it. There's 34 Springfields, and they came out and said what Springfield it was, and obviously it's not the one you think it is.
Which one is it? The whole thing's supposed to be vague, and I don't think that's real. I think that's web theory. Who's they? Who's they? Matt Groening told you? He called you?
Yeah.
In that jersey? Get the fuck out.
And I was like, why is Homer's hair like that? And he says, do you know that the M and the G?
Yeah, that I know. That everyone knows. Give me the state.
It is Oregon.
It is not Oregon.
It's Oregon, Zach. You want to take the physical challenge if you're wrong?
Maybe. And it's Oregon for anyone from this part of the woods.
All right, so
We're in Jersey now. It's Oregon, not Oregon, like the video game.
here's a bonus one: the Wonder Years. This is just for fun.
The Wonder Years, isn't that set in Long Island?
So I looked this up because I was curious. It is set in Anytown, USA. They don't give a city or state about anything. That was a bonus. I wasn't going to give that to you, but you said, "Oh, it doesn't. Springfield doesn't have a state." Hey.
I sounded like the Fonz and Dice.
Hey.
Also on my list, not the Fonz, but Dice will show up on my top 10 somewhere. Dice, maybe it was because I came of age. It killed me. It was such nonsense in like 1988. I was way too young for it, but God, was it good.
All right. Before we wrap it up, I got one more thing I've been keep forgetting to tell you about. It's reporting the internet. It's the best revenge I've ever seen or heard of. On TikTok, there was a story. It's like, oh,
That's
tell me
revenge because I've sent somebody a glitter bomb and I paid $10 extra for the spring load.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Somebody, I think it was a breakup. What they did was they ordered online, and you can do this. It's $20 for 100 random keys where they're already cut and whatever. And then they ordered $5 worth of where the hooks where you write your name, your phone number, your address. They hooked them up and they put them all over New York City. And just to let the people either show up at the door where I found your key or to have the nonstop calling. I mean, you have to do the work of writing the thing in. I saw that. And I thought it was one of the most genius things I've ever seen, Zach.
Back in the days years ago, I first started working in real estate, I was an agent. I had a client who had a friend who got into a fight with their girlfriend or something. And what they did is they put an ad on Craigslist saying like $1,200 one bedroom, owner must, I got to leave, but I work long hours, be here, open house every day between 7 and 8 a.m., ring apartment 5F. There were people lined up, and since it's Craigslist, you can't take it down unless you flag it a bajillion times. So the person was just tormented. So you look out the window, and there's like 80 people out there.
It's good.
And they're not happy because they're there, and they don't want to. I was rolling laughing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. We did the episode. Everybody, thanks for watching. We had fun. We're going to keep this going. Send me what you want to put in for the comedian thing, and we're going to do this next week. We'll do a little more.
Could be a woman.
Yes, absolutely.
Look at your face.
All right. Booze Your Daddy. We out.
Bye.